Hello students, in a previous video we have seen how to use regular expression validator in our .NET project. Now in this tutorial or in this video we see custom validator, means how we can use custom validator inside our project. So if your work is not done with compare validator, range validator, regular expression validator and required field validator, then you can go towards the custom validator. Means for compare validator they have already written one function, and the logic behind this compare validator already written in that particular function. Then logic behind range validator, there is one particular function which will be called, and that function is ready-made. We use in a regular expression, we use our own regular expression, or we may use already built regular expression. Then required field validator, again some code is already written for us. Now if our work is not done with all these validation controls, then we may write our own function, customized function, means user defined function to handle the validations. Means my work is not regarding the required field validator or compare validator, or I'm not checking the range values or some regular expression, or there may be no such pattern and all. I want to validate something other than these. Then we may write our own custom function for checking the validations. So we may write our own customized functions and call them while we checking our field values at runtime. Means for example, I am giving you one example, as I am taking one label here and setting the text as enter any string, or enter only even numbers. So I am giving the message to user as enter only even numbers, not numbers, but only one number need to give. So enter only even number. Okay, now to give even number, I use here one text box. So I want to enter only one even number by the user inside this text box, and I'm using here custom validator. So I want one even number inside this text box. Now how even number we can check? To check even number, I can't use this required field validator, then compare validator, then regular expression, then range. These all controls, validation controls, doesn't help me for checking this number is even or not. Then I need to write one custom validation function inside JavaScript. Now where we can write our custom validation function. For client-side validation, we may write one JavaScript function. For server-side validation, we may write one C# code. So we will see one by one how we can write one client-side function, client-side validation function, and then we will see how we can write one server-side validation function. So for client-side validation, we may write our function inside JavaScript. Now I am setting the property to this custom validator as enter only, or this is not even number, this is not an even number. If user gives the number other than even number, then this message will come. Then I am giving this validation to text box 7. Then I'm changing the color property as red. Now when this message will come according to my logic, and my logic I need to write inside my custom function. So for custom validator there is one property here, client validation function. So we need to write one function, and inside that function we can write any logic regarding to check this value or this field value is correct or not. That particular logic we may write inside this client validation function, and this is the client side validation, so we need to write it inside JavaScript, because JavaScript is the client side validation. For client side validation we may write JavaScript, because JavaScript is the client side scripting language, right? JavaScript is the client side scripting language, so we need to write this client side validation function inside JavaScript. So here we need to give the name to our function. We may use or we can give any name, user defined name. I am giving here check even. My function name is check even. So I'm copying this check even function name and go to source file, and inside this we see the HTML file or HTML code is here. And now I'm writing inside this head one script tag I am taking here, and inside script I am writing one function and giving the function name as check even, and there are two arguments, sender and args I am using here. Now this args, inside this args we are accepting the value, whatever the value given by the user inside this text box, we can access that particular value by using this args variable. So I'm writing the logic behind this args value is even or not. So I'm checking the value of args variable value we can check by using the value property value. If args dot value, how we can check the value is even or not? By using the mod 2. If I divide the value by 2 and if I get the remainder as 0, then this is clear, the value is even. So this is the correct value, so there is no any error, and we don't want to display that error message. Then we check args dot isValid property isValid is equal to true. Otherwise else, if this value is not even, then args value is args dot isValid is equal to false. Means that particular value is valid or invalid. If valid, then error message will not come. If that value is invalid, means its isValid property is false, then error message will come. So this is I'm writing this client side validation. We can give the type of scripting language as type JavaScript, text JavaScript. So this is our client side validation function for checking the value is even or not. If the value is even, then isValid property we are setting to true, then there will not be any error message will come in front of user. And if that value is not even, then is valid property we are setting here false, so error message will come. So after writing this all and after designing this, I'm not writing any .c# code, any server side. I'm not writing any function, and only client side validation function I'm writing. And if I run this project, see what we will get. Now if I'm giving this number as 45, then this is not an even number. This message immediately comes because we are checking the validation as client side validation. We are writing the JavaScript, so this is client side validation and not server side. If I am writing one server side validation function, then this message will come after click on this submit button only. If you are writing the server side validation function, then message will not come immediately. After click on submit only, that server side validation function will run, and if it is invalid value, then message will come, otherwise not. Now this validation summary is the example of server side validation. These messages will not come immediately, but only comes after click on submit button. So this validation summary is also one example of server side validation, and all these are the client side validation, and this is our custom validation. If I am giving the correct value, then this message will gone, but this message will not gone. This effect will we will see after click on submit, because this validation summary is also comes under a server side validation. So in next video we will see how we can write the server side validation function inside our .NET project. So for client side validation, we may write one function, or whatever the logic behind your validation, you may write inside this JavaScript function. Okay, whatever you want to check the values, or whatever your business logic, write inside this JavaScript function. So how we can access this control value, how we can access inside JavaScript function? By using args. This argument gives you the value. By using this value property, we can take that controls value and check it is even or not. By taking the mod, means we are checking the remainder value. If remainder value is 0, then we definitely say it is even number, otherwise it is odd number. So for even number, we are setting the isValid property to true, so error message will not come, and if isValid property is false, then error message only comes in front of user. So this is the logic behind custom validator. Inside custom validator, we may write one client side validation function or server side validation function. In this video, we see how we can write the client side validation function inside JavaScript, because JavaScript is the client side scripting language. So we can check a client side validation by writing one function inside JavaScript. So in another next video, we see how we can write the server side validation. For server side validation, we use C# code, because C# is server side scripting language. So see you in next video.